In this problem, we're asked to find the horizontal asymptote of the following equation. Since the question is to find the horizontal asymptote, hopefully your instructor has told you that you compare the numerator degree to the degree of the polynomial in the denominator. So to ascertain the degree, however, you need to have each polynomial in numerator and denominator in expanded form. So you'd have to do some FOILing here. Now it turns out you only need to multiply the terms with the highest degree. That would be the 2x and the 8x. So 2x times 8x is 16x squared. The rest of it is irrelevant given the question. But if you want, you'd get a negative 2x if you multiplied the next term. This is good practice, I suppose. And then 8 times 8x is 64x. And then finally we have 8 times negative 1 is negative 8. So usually when I'm in class, what I usually do is I just multiply out the first term, which was the 16x squared, and then I proceed to write on the board plus stuff. Because the rest of the terms, as you can see, are lower degree terms, and given the nature of the question, we don't need to know what they are. The only thing we need to know is that the polynomial in the numerator has a degree of 2. You find the degree by just looking at the highest exponent. So here we go, multiplying out the denominator. Again, the only thing I need to multiply is the x and the x, which is x squared. So I know that my denominator has a polynomial of degree 2, but just for fun, I will FOIL the whole thing out. 7 times 3x is 21x. 7 times 2 is a positive 14. And what else do we have? Finally, the part that we really need, the negative x and the 3x. If you multiply that, you get negative 3x squared. That was in my highest degree term. Notice it's degree 2. And last but not least, negative x times 2 is negative 2x. So the only thing I really cared about in all of this is the highest degree terms, which was the 16x squared and the minus 3x squared. So over here, I would write my negative 3x squared first because I want it in descending order. All the rest of the terms are irrelevant, so I'm just going to write plus stuff. Still haven't figured out how to use this pad and to write legibly, so you see me writing very slowly and methodically. At any rate, what we have is that the numerator is degree 2, my denominator is degree 2. Since the degrees are the same, the shortcut rule for finding the horizontal asymptotes if the degrees are the same is to form a ratio of the leading coefficient. So I call this the thumb rule in my class, because if you took your thumb and covered up all the lower degree terms, you'd have all of this stuff going away. And then what you'd have is a monomial over a monomial, and x squared is a factor in both, so you could cancel that out. And what you'd be left with is what you'd see if you put your thumb over all this stuff. So I call it the thumb rule in my class because you take your thumb and cover all that stuff up, and what you have is the answer to the problem. In fact, a horizontal asymptote is a horizontal line that we're looking for its equation, and horizontal lines actually have equations y equals. So here it is, all ready to go for us. The answer to the question is y equals negative 16 thirds.